I'm getting a heck of a deal by getting multiple pieces of jewelry for a low price that I could piece out. Piece out. That's piece out. Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Krause from Krause House Thrift and Thrift. If you didn't know, if you're coming back, thank you for coming back. If you're new, thank you for checking out my channel. You're going to learn a lot about reselling here because I've been reselling since 2001. And my main platform is eBay, but I have sold on Mercari and Poshmark and Facebook Marketplace. I've listed a few things on Etsy, haven't sold anything yet. They've kind of put them on the back burner. But what do you think of my red hair? It was worse yesterday, you guys. You know, every several weeks I dye my hair. This is not, I'm 60, so that's not what this would look like if I didn't color my hair. It would look, it'd have gray in it. Probably not a lot though, because my mom's like 83 and she doesn't have much gray at all. So, and I hear it's hereditary. But anyway, I'm kind of vain that way. I don't want to have gray in my hair. So yesterday I did, I usually switch between strawberry blonde, and because that is my natural hair color, and blonde, and this time I did a strawberry blonde, and usually fine, it just comes out a little bit red and it fades after a while and just goes back to blonde. Well, yesterday I did it and my hair just really grabbed the color. I mean, I look like Carrot Top or I don't know, just a really redhead, but not the gray kind, the more the orangey red. And my husband's like, I don't like that. I'm like, I don't either. So we went and bought another, I bought another box of hair color, which was like light blonde. And this is the result. Still got kind of the reddish up here. It's better here, but I'm still not a huge fan of it. The good thing is it will fade over time. And from now on, I'm just going to do blonde only. I usually do like a light blonde or a medium blonde. And that is my natural hair color. I'm a blonde with like a little bit of strawberry and a little bit of my, if I let this grow out, I have like some dark roots. So I could almost look like a brunette if I let my hair go a while. But I just prefer to be blonde, and gentlemen prefer them too. Didn't you know? Anyway, you guys, I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful day in Pendleton, Oregon. I think it's going to hit 80 today. It's been in the 70s, much prefer in the 80s. I think it's going to hit 90 by the end of the week, so we will get our air conditioners in. Right now we're just relying on fans and open windows. So I just put these curtains up. You know, I like to keep the bottom part of the window open and to cover those ugly blue blinds you see there. And you know, the cats like to look out the window, and I like to have fresh air coming in. So anyway, I think that's everything with me. You know, loving the weather. My kids were here last weekend over Memorial Day weekend, had a great time. Jeremiah and Noah. Well, Noah is the oldest. He's 28. Jeremiah is 24. Can't believe it. They're so grown up. We had a great time with them. We went to, well, John, my husband, took them to the Pendleton Underground. I am claustrophobic, so I chose not to go. And then they're like, oh, you would have been fine. It wasn't, because they go like underground, like tunnels and stuff. They said it was not that bad at all. So I'm going to go with John another time. But I went thrifting while they were gone. But we had a great time. We went out to the casino. We had a meal there. And then we also went to a war museum. We have a war museum in Pendleton. I think Noah was a little bored, but John's fascinated because he's ex-military. He was in the Air Force for 10 years in the 80s and early 90s too, I think. So, and you know, we watched the movie Cool World because that's from 1992, and it's a really cool movie with Brad Pitt and Kim Basinger. And you know what? They were supposed to get her Saturday, so we would have had 2 full days. But my son Noah was sick, so I told him to take Zicam. He felt better, so they came Sunday, Monday. I had to leave like Monday at 4, so we didn't have a lot of time with them, but we had a great time. So the great thing is my son Jeremiah just got his license a few months ago, and so now he could drive. We were having to drive or go to them all the time or drive them places, but now that he has a really nice car, like a Kia Optima, and so they're able to drive to us, so we're really happy about that. All right, so enough of that. Let's talk about what this video is about today. I wrote down the best sellers that we've had within, let's say within 5 years, the ones I could think of, and I looked on eBay a lot of the sold items to kind of jog my memory. I asked John. So these are about 13 categories, and in those categories, you know, there's a couple of things like, you know, I'm going to lump some things together like electronics, you know, computers, DVD players, etc. So let's get going. This is to help you guys for your BOLOs to be on the lookout for when you are sourcing, wherever that sourcing is, whether it's thrift stores, yard sales, auctions, estate sales, rummage sales, your closet, someone else's closet, or if you buy stuff on eBay. I will tell you guys that mostly the stuff I source on eBay are mixed jewelry items. What I do is I snipe the auction. If you don't know about that, I use Easy Sniper, but there's a ton of sniping websites. And you type in the eBay item number, you say what is your highest bid amount, and when the auction ends they will put your bid in at the last minute. It's called sniping. And I won a couple, and this one is great. Let me look at this. Gorgeous. I haven't even gone through this, mostly because I'm going to start doing jewelry on Whatnot, but some of these pieces are really pretty. I think I paid $10 and $5 shipping. I mean, 1 or 2 pieces can pay for that. So if you, I'm giving you guys an idea. If you want to do this, just do jewelry auctions and then snipe that bid. Or if you really want to wait till the bid is about to end, the auction is about to end, and put your bid in, but there's no guarantee you're going to get the item, and then you got to wait for it. No, sniping service is the way to go if you're going to do auctions. So that's really the only thing I buy on eBay for business. Yeah, I buy the jewelry and then I part it out, because a lot of people either don't know what they have, or their auction comes in lower than maybe what they expected. So I'm getting a heck of a deal by getting multiple pieces of jewelry for a low price that I could piece out. That's piece out. That I could part out, that I could sell individually. So I'm going to be making much more money than I paid for that auction. So that's something, if you guys want to sell jewelry or have been selling jewelry, start bidding on auctions, and then you get just the mixed lot auctions. It usually has to be at least 10 pieces for me to feel it's worth it. And some of the jewelry is really beautiful, and some can be antique. So, or, you know, vintage, so like sterling silver and turquoise, or you know, anything really. But usually it's costume jewelry, but that still can sell on eBay. So, but I would like to get my Whatnot set up again. Our laptop sadly is not working well for us. So, I guess you could just sell using your phone, but they really recommend you use a phone and another device. One for the chat and one for you being filmed. So I'm gonna have to figure it out, whether I use John's phone or we get another laptop. I don't know, but eventually I'll do Whatnot shows again. I'll do them with jewelry. So that's why I'm kind of stashing away jewelry right now for that purpose. So I digress again. Let's get back to this, you guys. My 13 best sellers, or at least 13 categories of, I'm gonna say $50 and up. You know, some of them go to 200, but these are things you should be looking out for. And some of these I sold maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I believe that they're still BOLOs. So let's start out, and these are no particular order, just the order that I wrote them down in as I thought of them. And I'll try, and if I remember, I'll tell you what I paid for the item, maybe where I got it if I remember, and what it sold for. And these are going to be probably whole numbers. They're not going to be exactly what they sold for. So I will put up on the screen with the item if I could find the actual auction, because some of these are old, like I said. I'll try and give you the accurate number it sold for as much as possible. If I don't put on the screen, it just means it sold a few years ago and I don't have the auction available, because eBay archives your auction after a certain amount of time. All right, number one, ink cartridges. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. John and I found a whole bunch of, and I'm not talking about jet ink, I'm talking about the ink for the really big laser printers. It was like HP, and there was like 4 or 5 of them, the really big cartridges, you know, for like heavy duty printers, like a printer somebody would have in an office. Not those little cartridges. I'm talking about the big ink cartridges. And these were brand new in the box. There was like 3 or 4 of them, and there was like HP. And we sold those, I believe, for like $2.20. And I had to double box them because the person who bought them asked me to, so I did. And so look out for the big ink cartridges. I don't know what you call them. I'll have to look that up and put on the screen. I'm not talking about the inkjet cartridges. I'm talking about the big toner cartridges. Yeah, like you put in the big printers, like I said, at an office. So those are going to make more money for you, but the other ones also can be good sellers as well. Just the jet ink cartridges for just a regular printer like that anybody would have in their office, like I have. And those are good too, but beware of expiration dates. So you always want to look. If it has expired, you still can sell it. You just need to put that in your listing, the expiration date. I have sold expired ink cartridges before. I don't think these were expired though, these toner cartridges I sold. Okay, beer signs. John and I sold a Stella Artois beer sign. I believe it was $85 to $90. Oh, the ink cartridges, I don't remember what we paid. We probably paid $10 at a Goodwill. All right, the beer sign, I think that was like $5 to $10 we paid. It was really a large one. I think it was metal. And yeah, it was Stella Artois beer. So we just got that at Goodwill. Other signs that are like that I've sold are actually glass signs. Like I sold a stained glass beer sign, not for nearly as much, maybe $30, $40 recently actually. I don't come across them very much. I'm not going out to look for them. If I come across them when I'm sourcing, I pick them up if they're not too expensive. So that's what I would do if I were you guys. If you wanted to source them specifically, they do bring in good money. And sometimes other signs as well, not just beer ones, you know, vintage signs, or the signs that a shopkeeper could put in front of their store. I think I sold one of those once. It was like a wooden sign, and I don't remember what it was advertising, but or if you want to go like a large nautical sign or something that looks very old vintagey or just has a lot of character to it. You know, I'm finding that usually when I go out and source something, if I like it, chances are somebody else is going to like it. If it looks very appealing, you know, a lot of times I don't look that stuff up. I just grab it because I know it's going to sell because it looks good. All right, art. So I've sold 2 Paul Detlefson, I believe that's how you pronounce it, paintings. They're beautiful. I grew up with one that we had in our house. They're really cool. They're different things. I will put them up on the screen so you guys could see. They're usually, you know, paintings about, you know, the old way of life. You know, there's kids chasing a carriage, or there's like a river with stones in it, or there's a carriage house, or they're just very cool vintage old-fashioned pictures. And I always like the one we had in our living room. Don't have that anymore, but I believe I sold 2. I think sold one for $90, one for $80. the second one we got, we bought that Goodwill for like $25, but we knew that was going to be a close to $100 flip, so we didn't mind. The first one we got, I don't know what we paid, maybe $15, and I got them both at thrift stores. So the bad thing about them is they're not fun to ship. It takes me about an hour to ship them, and I usually have to Frankenbox, unless you could, if you don't want to Frankenbox a box, because this, we're talking a huge painting, really large, and the good thing is it's not breakable, just having a glass, because it's painted on like canvas, or you know, something. It's not breakable, but you have to protect the wood. You could go get those pool noodles, slit them in the middle, and protect them. That was, I shipped these before I knew about that trick, but I just used packing paper and just taped around the frame, and then I wrapped the whole thing in packing paper, which isn't easy because large painting. And then I think I did Frankenbox, meaning you put two boxes together and then tape them up. But you can go to like a hardware store or electronic store. A lot of times they have big boxes, like those big boxes for TVs, flat screen TVs. That would be perfect for a painting like that. So, but when I Frankenbox, it takes me a long time because I have to protect the item, then I have to put it in the box, and then you've got to tape the box. And it usually looks like, the box has a cast on it, meaning there's just so much tape around it. It takes me forever to tape it up with my eBay tape. So, but nothing, that thing is not coming apart, that's for sure, because I've taped it to death. So that's the bad side about selling large art pieces. I would not sell anything breakable. One time, a painting, this is a few years ago, it did break, and the guy was so nice about it, the customer. He emailed me, messaged me, and he said, oh, it broke. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And I think I did refund his money. But he said, what you should do in the future is just take them out of the frame, roll them up, and ship them in a tube. So I have done that before. I've sold things. Right now, I have some art that's not in the original frame. It's just the artwork itself. And then that way people can frame them in their own frame. So, and then you don't have to deal with breakage. So that's what I recommend regarding art. TV trays, vintage TV trays, you guys. I've sold a few of these. One time I just got them at Goodwill. I was using them for me, and then I looked them up and I saw that they were valuable. They sell right away too. I think one I sold on Facebook Marketplace, one I sold on eBay. So I did have to ship the eBay ones. They're not breakable, they're just bulky. So you need to get a large box. And I'll put the picture on the screen. Yeah, vintage TV trays. People love those. And the more you have, the better. I think I just had a set of 4, and those go quick. So $40, $50 and up, depending on how bad, like if they're rusted or, you know, what they're doing is they're painted with the scene on them, and they just look really cool, but they're metal. And you got the tray on top, you know, with the legs. So people like that kind of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I don't come across those very often. All right, this is probably no brainer, but electronics, computers. I've sold a few computers, like computers I'm no longer using. So I replaced it. And I've sold broken computers too. A lot of computer guys just, oh, hello, my curtain's opening because there's a breeze. There's like a computer guy that just wants the parts, or he's gonna fix it up. So that's fine. You could definitely sell broken computers. The last one I sold for $100, it was broken. The one I have now I'm trying to sell is for like $50, but it's very low. I couldn't get it to work with my internet, but it's a low gigabyte. It's like 4 gigabytes. So that's like for a kid to use. It's not much storage. So that's why it has been sitting and it hasn't sold yet. But along with that, DVD players, Blu-ray players, I personally don't like to sell those because there's high returns on those. It's so easy for them to say it doesn't work, and then they just return it and they get their money back. And then, you know, it's just a pain because they're hard to ship because you got to really package them up, and they're big and bulky. You got to find a box. So I don't sell those anymore. I am selling an old scanner right now for like $70. It hasn't sold yet. I've listed it. So scanners, that one's not going to be too bad to pack up and ship. So computers, DVD players, Blu-ray scanners, printers. I've sold many of printers, probably $30 to $50. So any of that kind of thing. Fortunately, I haven't had those returned. So I would just say sell electronics at your own risk if you want to deal with them, with packaging them up, and then the fact that you're going to be hoping they don't return them. And then one time I had a girl message me and ask me how to get it set up, and I had to tell her, oh, she was missing a part, and told her where to get on Amazon. So that's the other thing. You might get somebody, messaging you with questions because they don't know anything about this. So leather belts, vintage leather belts, like a Navajo Concho Western style belt. I just sold one for $145. We paid $6, I believe. That was at that antique store. Went to a Mossy Rock, sold that very quickly, $150. It was a beautiful buckle. It was turquoise and silver, and then it was a brown leather belt. Really, really nice. Belts can be very good sellers if you get the kind, like it looks like just a belt buckle all the way around. There, it's just silver with a beautiful flower with turquoise in the middle. I'll put that up on the screen. Gorgeous, and they can sell for hundreds. So look out for belts. I'm not talking about ordinary belts that you find anywhere at any thrift store. They have to be like this, like Native American or just vintage. Those vintage chain belts sell well that women used to use, like from the 80s. So it all depends on the belt. So you got to do your research. Rare books. We sold a book for $150 not too long ago. It was a stamp album and had the stamps in it. And it was from British Columbia, I believe, so it had a lot of Canada, but it had stamps from all over, a bunch of different countries. Really great. And things like that, people are not going to return. They didn't return it. It's very collectible. So collectible items, people are most likely not going to return because this is the item they've been wanting, or they decided they want it, and it's just something they'll love and cherish. They're not going to return it. All right, number 9, lamps or lamp shades, specifically Tiffany. We got a beautiful Tiffany lampshade at that yard sale we went to a couple of months ago that I did film there. They had great prices. I think we paid $10. Sold on, I listed on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. It did sell on eBay. I had it for over $100, and I think I took an offer of $80 or $85. That wasn't fun to pack up either. Just like the artwork. What I did is I bought the really large bubble wrap at Walmart for $13. They have large bubbles, not the really small ones. And what I did is I used packing paper and bubble wrap, and then I think I double boxed it as well. So that thing arrived safely, thank God. I was not getting that broken for that high a profit margin. So I rarely come across those. We just happened to see one at a yard sale, but not just Tiffany, but a lot of those kind of style lamps, or any kind of vintage lamp or lampshade. You guys know what I'm talking about, from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Lamps are a pain in the butt to ship, so I don't do them. But yeah, there's a lot of lamps and lampshades that are valuable. You just gotta do your research. Sports equipment, like tennis rackets, golf clubs. I just sold some golf clubs today. Oh, let me show you guys. Okay, get these boxes from USPS. They're free, just long. But look what I had to do at the end. Is that funny? It's because it was too tall. The top of the golf clubs were sticking out of the box. So I had to Frankenbox. That's what Frankenbox looks like. Is that funny? And they're a set of 3 women's golf clubs. Women's golf clubs probably, from my experience anyway, do not sell as well as men's. And I've had those golf clubs for a couple of years. We bought them. We lived in Buell at the Mustard Seed, that wonderful thrift store we loved and used to go to. So, and I have one more club that I'm waiting to sell from that batch. I've sold a couple previous to that, but the $20 is all I got for those, and I think I originally had them listed at 40, and I kept lowering the price. So yeah, never doing that again. Learned my lesson with the golf clubs, not selling them anymore, and I don't enjoy selling them. Now, if you guys, there's a lot of people make a lot of money on golf clubs because they get the right kind, like the TaylorMade, and there's a bunch of different brands that are high sellers. But you just got to do your research, and if you want to sell golf clubs, there's money to be made there. Tennis rackets, sold quite a few of those over the years. They mostly sell in the summer, as you can imagine. I have about 5 listed right now, and they have not sold recently. So my hubby is the one who usually picks those up, and I really don't like selling them. So I don't think that's something we're going to be selling in the future. Rare figurines. Found this caribou antler carving at Goodwill for $4. They had no idea what they had. Sold it for $105. Caps. Usually baseball caps aren't worth that much, but if you get rare ones or collectible ones or sports one, we had a Michael Jordan cap we got for just not very much money, maybe up to $5. I think we sold that for 75 to 80, and then we had a Utah Jazz cap we sold for like 70 as well. So and they took a while to sell, but they did sell. So if you find, you know, a cap that has a player like that Michael Jordan, you know, Utah Jazz, I don't remember who the player was on that one. But obviously, if you're going to get a high-end figure, sports figure, and you have a baseball cap or any kind of hat from them, sometimes bucket hats, just different styles, those are going to be the better sellers for you. And so those were great for us. Like I said, it took them a while to sell. I think we only paid 50 cents for the Utah Jazz cap. So a lot of times thrift stores don't know what they have, and that they'll like price all their caps the same price, like 50 cents or $1, $2, whatever it is, and they don't sort through them to see the more valuable ones. Now some thrift stores do. We do have Salvation Armies. They'll, if they find a cap, if they have a cap like that, one of those to sell, they mark up the price. So I get it though. They're trying to make a living, just like all of us. And as far as clothing, I don't make a lot of money selling clothing. I mean, I'm talking $50 and up. I have over the years, but specifically if you want to make a lot selling clothing, vintage t-shirts, of course, single stitch t-shirts, those are always going to be valuable, or even if they're more current, band concert t-shirts, depending on the artist or the band, you got to look them up. Suits, suit jackets, men's or women's. Vintage is better, but even some current ones, if you get the right designer label, get the right labels. And collectible items like Disney, like I sold a California Adventure t-shirt and it was stained. I think I sold that for $30. So that's my list, you guys. Sorry I ran long. I do tend to get wordy, but go out and look for these items. And if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. I'd love for you to be on my team to watch my videos and learn more how to be a better reseller. Like this video really helps me out if you share this content, or you know, send me a comment, tell me if you like this or you want me to make videos on something else. So have an awesome day, you guys. I will see you in the next one. Take care. See ya. Bye.